Right, y'all, welcome back to Common Arms channel. Okay, so today we're checking out something from the Dutch Marines. Now, we haven't checked out the Dutch Marines in a little bit, but this one is really cool. So this is an exercise called Arctic Raider 2025. And you guys probably already know I love checking out Arctic training, as it's not really something that I've had to endure myself so much. Again, like the coldest that it's been for me in like the infantry is maybe waking up with like some frost, maybe a little bit of snow on the ground, and that's pretty much it. I have not done any sort of like cold weather or just even like a whole lot of like snow operations, but the Arctic is very, very different, and you're going to see it pretty much right away. Once the video starts, you can kind of see what the climate looks like. We've seen plenty of NATO operations or videos showing those exercises in like the Arctic and around the Arctic Circle, of course with like Norway and Finland. But this one is still held in Norway, but from the perspective of the Dutch Marines, which again, it's always really cool to kind of get more in-depth knowledge as to one specific military and how they're faring basically in this sort of environments. Because as you can well imagine, there's a lot of things that you need to be proficient on, a lot of things you need to consider. And when it comes to just general physical fitness, I'm not so worried about the Dutch Marines, but again, that plays a huge part in this environment as well. So should be interesting. Let's check it out. Oh, what an intro. Oh my gosh. The editing in this is like already off the charts. Oh my, I mean, I thought my freaking frame rate was just like jacked up. Look at that view right there. I mean, we also haven't seen many like snow kind of camouflaged helicopters. It looks like something out of a James Bond movie. Oh my gosh. And the pilots, the skills to operate in that environment. Not something that we've seen a whole lot either. The shots are so cool.
Infanterie-eenheid. De mariniers in Noorwegen, dat is al jaar en dag met elkaar verbonden.
Oh, what kind of formation was that? So let's see what these guys, let's see how they're moving. Interesting. This is also really cool because like it just shows you how effective camouflage is. Of course, you can see with their tops are not like the snow camouflage, and that's because obviously their backdrop, if you're kind of looking at ground level, their tops is going to be kind of more in line with the trees, so it makes a lot more sense. I mean, I remember when I first started reacting to this, I'm like, oh, they just got like a kind of mixed match of camouflage. Like maybe they didn't have like a snow top. But it makes a lot more sense when I'm seeing stuff like this from the ground level. Mostly just like seeing it from the fins at first. They definitely know what they're doing. Oh, and they're on the snowshoes too. We haven't seen a whole lot of implementation with that.
Omdat het de Noordvlag ons achtertuin is.
A lot of skis. Oh my gosh.
Europa. Kijk wat er nu gebeurt in de wereld. Die moeten we gewoon kunnen opereren. En specifiek voor het Korps Mariniers.
What the heck is that? Is there a story behind this dude here? Golly. Oh my gosh. It looks like...
Onder alle omstandigheden moeten wij in staat kunnen zijn om ons werk te kunnen doen.
It's all out of Game of Thrones.
De gebieden van.
I think I've said that in the last Arctic video too. Mortars with like a snow backdrop is such a vibe.
Tango Golf 1408. 3 guns. 4
oh, nice.
HE.
So we got some interoperability with the U.S. Marine Corps. Nice. Training with the Dutch Marines would be so cool. Holy, how many charges did they have on that?
We zijn op verschillende manieren hier tactisch aan het opereren. Afhankelijk van de opdracht die we krijgen gaan we dat uitvoeren. Zo kan dat zijn om dat we een doelwit mee krijgen wat we moeten zoeken.
De mortar ASMR.
Find operaties.
Oh dude, I've not seen any sort of UAV like this. I mean, I've seen plenty of like vertical lift UAVs, but oh my god, this is so cool. I mean, it looks very reminiscent of like an Osprey or like a tilt rotor. I would imagine these rotate kind of forward and then it can kind of glide. That's so cool. I like the little cover that they had too. The shots are so insane in this. The camera is just such high quality.
1408, repeat, over.
Het kan ook zijn dat we iets moeten uitschakelen. Dan gaat het meer over een strijkoperatie die we hier moeten uitvoeren.
And that's another thing. When it comes to the Marine Corps, like the Dutch Marines they have the kind of very similar mindset as the U.S. Marine Corps as far as being that reactionary or that like expeditionary force. So being able to be proficient in a bunch of different climbs is definitely helpful when it comes to this sort of response and this sort of preparation for moving into those environments when something does kick off, especially when you're talking about NATO and supporting NATO. Oh yeah, how far are they firing? Jeez. Oh my god, that's so cool. Okay, the Arc'teryx gloves.
Het leven en
Really
overleven in
is
Noorwegen
beautiful
is zeker
and
een hele grote
terrifying.
uitdaging. Je moet eerst voor zorgen dat je voor jezelf kan zorgen. Je letterlijk jezelf in leven houden. Je moet kunnen overleven, want je komt hier omstandigheden dat je niet even naar de supermarkt kan rijden. Maar echt op jezelf bent aangewezen.
Yep. I mean, creature comforts can go away, like food can go away. I'm just trying to be somewhat warm and dry. Stay out of the wind for sure.
Ja, is prima.
That'll tear you up.
En niet alleen op jezelf, maar eigenlijk ook op je buddies, op je team. En die moeten elkaar in de gaten houden. En eigenlijk pas als je dat kan, dan pas kun je leren vechten in dit gebied.
Yeah, you'll learn real quick, like how much you can trust your gear working in the Arctic. Not just to, I mean, like you can kind of see it right there. Not just to, you know, maybe dry quickly, but reliability in weapons for sure. With something like this, zippers already, like zippers freezing up, pain in the ass. When something just like the material itself freezes, the plastic that these clips might be made out of, everything gets tested and everything just starts to break when it's colder. And again, I haven't even been in an area quite like this, so I'd imagine that's just tenfold. Oh my god, they're hauling ass. How fast can those things
wordt
go?
gedrukt vanuit Nederland kunnen wij binnen 48 uur kunnen wij waar ook ter wereld ingezet worden. En dan samen met onze internationale partners daar een operatie gaan dragen.
48 hours, yeah, so you gotta be proficient, you gotta be, I mean, just ready mentally, but you also need to be like very expeditionary, travel light. Damn, what was that rifle setup? I mean, we've seen that one, but looked like they had a different long gun. Golly, it's so cool. Yeah, damn. So I wonder if that's, yeah, it's like the designated marksman rifle kind of variant. It looks like, the lower kind of looks like an HK lower, but I'm not really too sure. Nice.
We kunnen aan boord vanaf het schip kunnen wij snel ingezet worden.
Oh my
Daar een
gosh.
link maken, samenkomen met onze
Oh, dude, the
partners, Amerika en
submarines
Engeland.
too.
Want wij kunnen het namelijk niet alleen. We kunnen snel handelen, snel vertrekken.
I'm
hebben
geeking
onze
out,
eigen spullen
for
bij.
real. We bring our gear, just keep it in the quad cons, ready to go.
Deze commandant zit eigenlijk nog steeds te genieten. Het is een prachtige omgeving. Ik geniet van de sneeuw en ik kan hier echt van genieten.
Golly. Yeah, the logistics
Ik
looks
zeg altijd,
like on point too.
bepaalt het August. Dat betekent dat je in alle omstandigheden moet kunnen trainen.
And everything seems pretty well maintained. That's
Ik ben er
so
echt ook van
sick.
overtuigd dat alles wat je hier doet en leert, overal ter wereld kan gebruiken.
Looks like even the armor is like pretty solid. Golly, the quality of that video was insane. Very well done. Holy cow. Really up in their game. You guys already know I geek out when we're checking out the Dutch Marines. I mean, it's cool checking out foreign militaries just in and of itself. But again, from the U.S. Marine Corps perspective, the Dutch Marines seem very much like the U.S. Marine Corps. If there's any sort of Marine Corps out there, and I think I've said this a couple times, the Dutch Marine Corps feels the most like the U.S. Marines. Not just in kind of, yeah, obviously they're going to look different. They have different gear. They're speaking a different language, but you can kind of see it in not only how they present themselves. There's a certain level of like confidence and discipline you can see the Dutch Marines operating with. You can see their kit is really squared away. Just how they manipulate their weapons, everything is squared away. Everything is streamlined. Nothing looks like loose and just kind of like untidy. And I've seen it. I mean, if you're in the infantry long enough, you know when a unit is squared away. You know when they have discipline. And I've seen it with like the National Guard versus the active duty units. I've seen it with Army infantry versus Marine Corps infantry. You can kind of, if you've been around the block, you can kind of pick apart certain things. Like, you don't have a whole lot of experience with your weapon, just in how you're manipulating it, or even how certain things are set up. Your kits might look a certain way where I'm like, you haven't actually used your kit in that configuration for anything, because it's not going to work out. And you can kind of pick up that stuff pretty easily. But when I'm seeing the Dutch Marines, I'm not seeing anything like that. Of course, there might be some things for y'all who have worked more in the Arctic. You might be able to pick apart certain things like that. But for me to be able to take that discipline and take it into an environment like the Arctic, it's like, you know, a frozen hellscape, and still look disciplined and still look violent, having that violence of action, it says a lot for sure, because they're not just there trying to survive. You can see that they are a disciplined fighting force, and they're taking all of that and they're just basically moving over to a different environment. And yeah, it's really kind of encouraging, but also humbling for me to see them operating like that. Again, as you guys already know, not having a whole lot of experience in the Arctic myself, yeah, I'm geeking out a lot, and I'm kind of going on my soapbox, but very, very cool to check out. And of course, if you guys see anything that I'm not picking up on, let me know down in the comment section, especially as it pertains to the kind of Arctic conditions and certain things that I'm not necessarily commenting on, but you know, that they're doing right, or even things that they could be doing better, because I mean, everybody has their certain specialities. And when it comes to the Netherlands, them operating in the Arctic, they are not going to have everything exactly as, you know, maybe the Swedes or the Finns or the Norwegians. They're not going to have that kind of experience, and they're not also going to have the amount of equipment and resources that they would have just kind of living in the Arctic Circle. But it's still really cool to see. Very, very awesome to check out. And yeah, I appreciate these recommendations, because again, we check out a lot of NATO exercises, especially in the Arctic, but a lot of times it's like the Nordic, Scandinavian countries. So to see it focus on the Dutch Marine Corps is kind of cool to get that perspective, and especially when it's just edited and shot this nicely. Yeah, very, very cool. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. That's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.